Sounding like go time. I think it's go time. It is March and it is time to go live again. Welcome, coaches, to the live stream. 8 to 8:30. It's short. It's sweet. We always talk coaching, but it's more so about hanging out than it is about learning. So don't get me wrong. You will learn eventually. But for the most part, we're just trying to hang out and encourage you. The job of coaching is difficult. It has its challenges. So it is good to be around like-minded people, people that do the same thing that you do, and to gain some energy from them. Although it is good to be around those people. I've got a special guest tonight from Brazil. That's right. You heard that right. A special guest from Brazil, Alex Ribeiro. Now that's the American way of saying it. But I'm anxious for you guys to meet Alex. He is going to be running our Facebook and Instagram pages, and he's starting that this week. So welcome, everybody. If you're just getting here, make sure you check in. Let us know where you're watching from. It is March, which means this is the first of 12 live streams. We will go live Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday nights from 8 to 8:30. And we do that 3 weeks in a row, totaling 12 nights. And then we take a break till the next month. Brian Gaskin in the house. What's up, Coach? Great to see you, man. Thanks so much for submitting a video to Chief Pigskin. Loved seeing it and get to know you. Steve Walsh in the house. What's up? Fellas, we got a fun one tonight. We're just, again, it's 30 minutes. Hang out, talk, say hi, share stories, share struggles, meet someone new. And we're even going to throw in a little trivia tonight. You can see I titled March Trivia Madness. Thanks to Coach Klee, our sponsor, Coach Brian Klee, Walsh out of Westchester, PA. Thanks to Coach Klee, we got $50 to give away this week. So what we're going to do is play a little trivia tonight. If you win tonight, your name goes on the list, on the scoreboard there. If you win tomorrow night, your name goes on the scoreboard, yada, yada, so on and so forth. Of our 4 nights, we'll end up with 4 names on the scoreboard. Those 4 names go onto a wheel that spins, and the winner gets $50 cash on Thursday night. $50 cash, nothing to sell you, just giving you $50. Gaskin out of Dayton, Ohio, welcome and thank you for joining. Anybody else that's just getting here, please check in. Let me go share this real quick. And that goes for anyone else. Anyone who shares this, if you click down below, you click share, and you click Twitter. Anybody who shares this, and of course tag us at the Chief Pigskin so that we can see it, gets a free month on the online clinic. We are live. I will give anyone a free month. If you've already got a membership, I'll go into the system and extend your membership a month for free. Anybody that tweets it, all you got to do is go right down below, click share, Twitter, tag us at the Chief Pigskin, say I'm hanging out with Chief Pigskin tonight. Anybody that shares it on Twitter tonight gets a free month to the online clinic. We are sponsored by Coach Klee tonight. Let's meet our guest. Let's meet our guest. He was just here and now he's gone. Uh-oh. Let me go tell him. Join again. There we go. Join again, Alexandre. Excited for you guys to meet Coach Ribeiro tonight. There he is. Let's get him in. Gotta switch scenes. Here we go.
Oh, finally.
There he is. Were you getting worried, Coach?
I was really worried because it was like 5 minutes earlier and I was like, oh, it's not working. Finally.
Guys in the chat, let us know if our sound is okay, if you're struggling to hear Coach at all or hear me. You guys are my sounding board to know if my sound is good. Well, welcome, Alex. Thanks for being here. Coach, how do you say your name if I'm in Brazil? How would people around you be saying your name right now?
So it would be Alexandre Ribeiro.
Alexandre?
Yes.
Ribeiro. Okay.
Exactly.
But the Americans just
for an H, for example.
Okay, but the Americans just call you Alex.
Right. I guess it's easier, Coach.
It is. It's probably easier to call you Alex, but I think I should eventually be able to call you. But it doesn't sound disingenuous for an American to call you Alex. What is it? Alexandri.
Alexandre.
Alexandri. That probably sounds funny to hear Americans try to say it right, doesn't it?
No, it just really sounds American. So.
Well, I suppose I can't help that. Well, Coach, we are super happy to have you. I've got a handful of questions here for you.
All right.
We're just getting going here. Guys that are in the chat, anyone else that's just getting here, be sure to check in. I'm going to go turn this music down just a touch. Coach, how on earth? Jason Eddings is in the house. We got Gaskin, Walsh from Pennsylvania. We got a coach from Ohio, coach from California in the house. We're going to do a couple things tonight, Coach. We're going to get to know you. We're going to talk a little football. We're going to talk some Brazilian life. And then we're going to go and we're going to mix in some trivia because I got to find a winner tonight. Of my 4 nights, all my 4 winners are going to go onto the board for Thursday night. And on Thursday night, we spin the wheel and the winner's getting $50 cash thanks to Coach Brian Klee. While I'm mentioning Coach Brian Klee, let me show you guys this. Watch this. You guys see my browser now. All Coach Klee is looking for is for people to subscribe to his YouTube channel. Here's his YouTube channel right here. Coach Klee, Klee. He's got a great channel. He's been working his tail off on it. 160 subscribers. The link is below. I want to invite you guys to go subscribe to Coach Klee. He's a great dude, a great coach out of Michigan and really loves it. And we want to ask you guys to subscribe. All right, let me try to get back to what I'm trying to do here. I'm going to go back to your screen. Coach, how on earth did you get into American football?
Oh my God. First of all, thanks for being here, guys. I appreciate the opportunity, but I started playing back in 2005 because I was invited by a friend. You know, I was in my high school years. But in Brazil, it's a club sport actually. So we actually founded the team. So we started with 3 guys, maybe 4. So out of that, we just started building. And I played until 2013, and we didn't have much information back then. So all the information we had, you guys probably remember that we didn't have YouTube. We didn't have online clinics, so it was just stuff. But that's how I actually started playing. I didn't know much of the game, and after 2013, when I stopped playing, I became a coach or a project of a coach.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you what. At this point now, you know a lot of football. Just as I've gotten to know you. I want to check in the chat. Chase Frazier in the house out of Oklahoma. Welcome. And looks like we've got a Brazilian in the house because that looks like a Brazilian name. Looks like João Paulo Semanado Santos.
Oh, yeah. That's a great coach. He's a head coach in Brazil of one of the top programs in here.
Man, well, hey, give all your Brazilian coaches, give them a shout out in Portuguese here in case they watch this now or later. Give them a quick shout out, something obviously I won't understand, but I want them to know that you're from Brazil.
Beleza, galera. Obrigado por terem entrado aí, pelo reconhecimento para quem entrou na live aí e tá acompanhando. É muito bom ter vocês aqui conosco.
Well, I hope that it was nice.
It was.
Guys, thanks so much for being here. Whether you're from international coach or you're in the States, we're going to have some fun tonight. Let's just kick things off right now. We're going to kick things off real quick, Alex, with our first of 5 trivia questions. You and Coach Klee in the house tonight, our sponsor out of Coloma, Michigan. All you guys got to do, fellas, to answer is type the answer in the chat. Google is fair game. You're obviously going to type the answer quicker into the chat. The first man to get the answer in the chat gets the point. We'll keep the score tonight. The guy with the most points at the end of 5 questions wins the night, gets his name on the chart on the spinning wheel for Thursday night to win $50 cash from Coach Klee. Win $50 cash. So let's just kick it off with the first question. Now, Coach Ribeiro, you can't answer, okay?
I cannot, right?
You cannot answer because we want to get our guys in the chat to answer. So here we go. First question. Let's get this going. First question. Now, these questions could be on all sorts of topics. Which U.S. president officially gave the White House its name? All right, first guy to type that into the chat. Chad Weeks in the house out of Panama City, Florida. Coach Ribeiro, I've got Chad Weeks as our guy. We want to turn Instagram over to him as you continue to grow, and if you start getting too busy with some of our international stuff, Chad Weeks is our guy. Man, he looks like a guy that could be really good at Instagram. Anybody that thinks they know the answer to that just has to type the answer into the chat. The first person to name the U.S. president that officially gave the White House its name starts off with a point. Now, Coach Ribeiro, don't give us the answer, but do you know the answer?
No, I wouldn't know it anyway.
Have you ever heard of the White House?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Oh, okay. All right, well, we're going to get an answer in there. We'll see who shoots that answer into the chat first. And while these guys figure out the answer to that first question, how much football is being played in Brazil?
Well, it's much bigger now than 10 years ago, for sure. Right now, Coach, we have over 250 teams playing the game. And we have state championships, and they happen in the first semester, and we have nationals, right? Our state, for example, in the state of São Paulo, which is a big city here in Brazil, we have 32 teams and 3 divisions. That's the championship that I play. And the national now we have 2.
Wait, how many divisions? How many divisions
3.
you said? 3 divisions.
Yes. So we played Division 1. We were the champions last year, actually 2019. And actually the national championship, we have 2 divisions, 32 teams per division. So last year we won Division 2, so it puts us in Division 1, which we should be about to play this year.
I love that. Coach, how on earth, now we do have a winner. The answer was Teddy Roosevelt. The Teddy Roosevelt was the one who named it. And I believe, I'm going to switch back over to my browser real quick. I believe he named it in 1901. In 1901, President Theodore Roosevelt officially named the executive mansion the White House. Since nearly every U.S. state had an executive mansion for its governor, President Roosevelt believed the name White House would distinguish it as the official residence of the President of the United States. So nice job. We got a guy on the board. Coach Gaskin's on the board with 1. We got 5 questions tonight, though. Time for anybody to catch up. And if we go with a tie, I got a tiebreaker question at the end. Coach, how are you guys getting your players? Is it just like flyers and online, and you're just recruiting whoever you can find?
So, Coach, it depends on the level you play. So right now, our team, we get players both from recruiting and also from, we call it tryouts, right? So we post online, we have an open practice. You can come, and we'll teach you a little bit of the game. You play, you have fun, and then you enter what we call the developmental team, right? We also have a juniors team, youth team for under 16 guys, young kids. And the adults team, which is the competitive team, we call it the elite. We can either recruit, and by recruiting, we can have 2 American imports.
Oh.
And yes, right now we have 2 playing for us, 1 quarterback and 1 running back. And you can also get Brazilian players. So basically it's just like America. You go out and recruit, you talk to people, you have Zoom meetings. That's what we do. And it's a quick interview, just to make sure that the culture is aligned, the expectations, and that it also meets what you want in life, because it's a club sport, it's not professional. So we're going to provide you what you need to play, but actually you have to be willing to live in our city and develop yourself as a person here.
Right. Man, Coach, we've got another guest in the house. Now, this guy's name, he has to be from Brazil. It has a C in it with a line below it. What sound does that make?
It's S, like an S.
Okay, so his name is Vitor Gonçalves. Do you know him?
I don't know.
He says hi.
I have to check the picture.
Vitor Gonçalves.
Yeah, you
well, welcome, Vitor. We're glad to have you tonight. We're talking a little Brazilian football. Hey, listen, when guys that start playing it,
Yeah.
and again, this being so new to them, what are some things that you find are common for them to love about it? Because it's not like you're playing in front of thousands and big crowds and you got high energy around it. What are some of those guys love about it?
You mean what they love in the game of football?
Yeah.
Okay, so actually, Brazil is very connected to America when we talk about sports. So the NFL in Brazil is the third biggest market in the world, right? So
What?
America, yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so there's America, there's Canada, and broadcasting-wise, Brazil is actually the third. So there's a bunch of people who know the sport, they watch the NFL, and they want to go out and play. So they check the internet, Google's there for it. So, okay, there's a team in my city, so I want to join, I want to see what's all about, and let's see if I like it or not. That's pretty much what happens.
That's pretty awesome, man.
Yeah.
Coach, how did you learn English? Was that like, is that very common to have English class in school? Is that how you learned? But then you obviously speak it awfully well.
I appreciate that, Coach. Actually, it's mandatory, but it's not very good English that we learn in schools.
Yeah. Well, listen, Spanish is mandatory in America, and I guarantee you, most of these guys in the chat, their Spanish is pretty bad.
Yeah, I got you. It's probably the same, Coach. So we actually make a joke out of it, which is we never get out of verb to be. It's from the 5th grade to your high school senior years, the same thing. But anyway, I learned pretty much by myself, just by watching movies and songs and lyrics and all that. And back in 2009, when I didn't know what I would do in college, I was like, so instead of just staying home, a couch potato, I'll just study English for a year. It was pretty much a conversation course. And from that on, it's just developing, But
Man,
I gotta tell you, Coach, it's the regular English is pretty different from the football English.
yeah. Well, football is like it has its own language almost.
Right.
Words mean something. So I can imagine that would be difficult because even here we say, like we refer to it as the language of football, right? And I used to tell my assistants that, hey, we just spend more time around it. You'll get better at speaking the language. You'll speak it faster. And because it's its own little world. Well, we've got a handful of guys in the chat. I want to say hi. Coach Gardner in the house. Coach Gabriel Arroz Franco. Chase Fraser says that would have been a good trivia question. So true. We're playing a little trivia tonight, guys. We got 4 questions left. You could still win. Again, also want to remind anybody that hits that share button, shares it on Twitter, or just says, hey, I'm hanging out with @TheChiefPigskin tonight. Be sure to tag us so I know you did it. Gets a free month on the online clinic. Coach, we just posted 3 videos from Owatonna in Minnesota, and they won 2 straight state titles. And then last year they couldn't win the state title. They won the section title because Minnesota didn't play their full playoffs because of COVID. They're dynamite. Their offense is electric. Their coach is fantastic, and they've got 3 videos. All that's over on the online clinic. You guys can all see it for free. All you got to do is click share, tweet it, put @TheChiefPigskin, tell them you're hanging out with us. Coach, let's go hit this second trivia question. What do you think?
Let's go.
Second trivia question. Here you go, guys. Is everybody ready? All you got to do is type the answer into the chat. The first correct answer in the chat wins the point. Next question. Name the last expansion team to enter the NFL. Now, Coach Ribeiro, do you know this? Don't tell him, but do you know?
What do you mean by expansion? I don't know that.
Expansion team. So like when the league had, let's say, 31 teams, and then they went to 32. So they put a new team in.
I wouldn't know.
We're going to see who knows in the chat. If you know that in the chat, you're going to win the next point. First person to type it in. Remember, Google's totally allowed. It might slow you down. But if you don't know, you don't know.
Did you know?
I guessed it and I was wrong. I guessed the second to last one.
Okay.
And Coach, we have a winner. It was the Houston Texans came in 2002. That was the last team to win, and our winner was Victor Gonçalves. Am I saying that right?
Yes, absolutely,
All right.
Coach.
Okay, I'm going to go put his name here in the scoreboard. Where's my scoreboard? There it is. Okay, so Gaskin has one. Gonçalves. Okay, now Gonçalves. I don't have a curly C on my keyboard. So
Just type
it's
a
just going
regular
to have
C.
to be a regular C. I'm
Right.
sorry about that. Does your keyboard have a curvy C?
Yes.
It does. Is that separate from another C?
Yes, actually it is. But Coach,
Okay.
if it's a MacBook, it's not a curved C. It's just a comma and a C. You type both together and you get this weird C.
Okay, okay.
MacBook.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Well, we're 2 questions in, and we've got a tie at the top of the leaderboard with 3 questions to go tonight. Coach, I want you to tell everybody about your Baylor experience. So listen, I don't know a ton about this, guys, but I want you to hear this because this is what sold me on bringing you on board with Chief Pigskin. This guy loves the game. He and his wife, on their own dime, come to America, and you end up getting on board with Baylor and Matt Rule
Yeah.
in some capacity. Tell us about that.
Sure. What happened was I was working for a car company back in the days, back in 2016. And I heard that Baylor would actually, Coach, my dream to go to America has been there since forever. So I was like, why not text teams and check if I can watch spring ball or something. I didn't have context. I didn't know that Twitter was a thing for football.
Mm-hmm.
So I texted Baylor and asking if I could join a kids youth camp or something like that, if I could watch it. And they were like, oh, actually one of our coaches is heading to Brazil in a mission trip with some athletes at Maceió, which is far away from where I live. I would say New York, Miami, for example.
Okay.
Can you join us in 4 days? And I'm like, okay, so let's do it. So I talked to my boss. I flew over there, and it ended up with me being an interpreter, one of his interpreters. So we got along well. We got to know each other well, and Coach Wetzel invited me as a spiritual leader, let's put it this way, for Baylor. So I went in a mission for Baylor, and I got to watch, to have a full schedule of like college schedule. So I could watch practices, I could watch games, I could watch game planning and all those stuff, strength and conditioning trainings.
For the full season?
Yes, sir.
So you spent the entire season of, what was it, the fall of 16?
Exactly.
And that was, and now it was
actually,
that
Coach.
17? And that was that Rule's first year there, and they were recovering from all the sanctions, and they had a tough year. But boy, he turned it around in a hurry. Now, that had to be invaluable experience. That's incredible.
It was very good, Coach, because they were 1-11, and it's interesting to see how the program is built. You know, you certainly see the guys were beaten up, you know, but they never gave up. They were always fighting. There was always you could see that it would be a great team. And also it was a very young team, very inexperienced back then. A lot of sophomores and true freshmen, to be honest with you. And I was like, oh, these guys, if they keep up with the good work, they can actually get there. So in 2018 and 2019, you could see how they turned the program. They went
Yeah.
7-6, and then 11, 10-0, 10-2 actually, I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah.
Yeah. They're incredible. And then that led Rule into his NFL job. Wow, what an incredible experience that must have been. Another coach just joined. It looks like, now I'm going to say your name wrong. I'm sorry. It looks like you may be a Brazilian coach. Looks like maybe Heitor Medeiros.
Oh yeah, he's the head coach of one of the top programs here.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, welcome, Coach. Thanks for being here. Coach Franco says, is it common to have opportunities like Coach Ribeiro had in the U.S.? That's like my dream. No, I would say it's incredibly uncommon. However, when you do hustling things, and we had a guy on the chat last month who literally emailed almost every college program in the country and got a response back from Cincinnati and ended up getting on board with Cincinnati as the lowest of the lowest of the low on the strength staff, and that was his in, right? So the reality, if you're willing to hustle and not stop, sometimes a door will open. Sometimes. So yeah, man, here's the thing, Coach Franco, that's probably the dream of a lot of American coaches. There's a ton of our coaches in America would love to do that. That's incredible. Well, fellas, I want to thank everybody for joining tonight. We got a couple minutes left. We got 3 trivia questions left. We got a tie atop the leaderboard. Coach Ribeiro is going to join us again tomorrow night, same time, same place. And we'll dig a little bit deeper and probably talk some actual X's and O's, Coach, because I know you know your stuff. Very curious to know kind of where you've gone with your own X's and O's, your own scheme, and who your models are, who you like there. So let's, Coach just said it was one of the best English pronunciations of his name ever. So I'm not going to say it again so I don't screw it up the second time. Okay, let's go over to my browser and let's get the next trivia question. Remember, the first person to type the answer into the chat there, the first correct answer in the chat wins the point. Here we go. At the end, if we have a tie, I do have a tiebreaker question. Next question is, what movie won the Academy Award for Best Picture in 2020? What movie won the Academy Award for Best Picture in 2020? Coach, don't answer this, but did you know it?
No, Coach, I'm feeling an idiot right now. Oh my gosh.
I actually knew this one, but only because as soon as it won, I was like, I've never even heard of that movie. So I looked it up. My family watched it. It was pretty cool. It's worth watching. Let's see if anybody in the chat knows it. What won Best Picture in 2020 at the Academy Awards? What won? Who's going to get that one correct? Again, use Google. Feel free. Obviously, if you know it, that'll slow you down. But if you don't know it, Google's your only option. Somebody's going to take home this point. I'm curious to see who it's going to be. Like I said, I would recommend this movie. It's a little bit of a thriller. And if you like movies that kind of keep you on the edge of your seat and maybe scare you once, like a little freaky, this is the movie for you.
Gotcha. I'm curious.
Ben Johnson says it was a Korean movie. Yes, it was. Gaskin got it. It was Parasite. That is correct. Parasite. Right there, Parasite, the Korean movie. Greed and class discrimination threaten the newly formed symbiotic relationship between the wealthy Park family and the destitute Kim clan. It's a riot. You've got to see it. I highly recommend it. Let's go give Coach his point. And then after we give Coach his point, we're just going to do the next question. Let's finish this off. Gaskin's atop the leaderboard with 2. Next question. Again, first person to type the answer into the chat gets the point. Who is the current #1 ranked men's tennis player in the world? The current #1 ranked tennis player in the world. I'll give you a hint. It is not the guy in the picture. That's John McEnroe. He was probably #1 at some point in his life. But who is #1 right now? He's been #1 for 310 weeks, Coach.
Jeez.
He's a stud.
I have a guess, but I want.
here's the thing. It's really like a guess between three guys, right? I mean,
exactly.
there's like three guys that are the best.
If you know
the
it,
question
you know
is, who is number one? Heitor got it right. It is Novak Djokovic. That is correct. Novak Djokovic is a Serbian professional tennis player currently ranked as world number one. He's been number one for 310 weeks. Let's give Heitor his point.
That's
and
dominance.
what was his last name? Medeiros. Okay. All right. Gaskin atop with 2. Medeiros with 1. Gonçalves with 1. And now on to the final question. Medeiros or Gonçalves needs to get one to tie Gaskin. Gaskin needs one to hold him off and not force overtime. Let's see what it's going to be. First man to type it in the chat wins. Next question. In what year did the Titanic make its maiden voyage? In what year did the Titanic make its maiden voyage?
I know this one.
You do know this one.
Yeah.
Have you seen the movie, Coach? Yeah. You have seen the movie? One of my, honestly,
It was the year that my
It's a
grandma
great
was
movie.
born.
really?
Yeah. She passed
Who's
away
gonna
when
get
she
this?
was 100 years old.
No kidding. Wow. Well, a little tip to everybody. Its maiden voyage was its only voyage. It sunk on its maiden voyage. Who's going to get this? We got an answer. The answer is 1912. Gonçalves gets it and forces overtime. The Titanic
Yeah.
on April 15th, 1912 sunk. We got to tie a cop the leaderboard. It's time to go to overtime. Let's get this. I'm going to get this up here. Gonçalves with 2. 2-2. Gaskin and Gonçalves. Only Gaskin and Gonçalves can answer this one. If you both answer it's like a rankings question, so you could have a lot of answers. It's a which NFL team question, and we're gonna see who names the highest ranking one, and if you both name the same one, it's whoever typed it in first. Here is your tie-breaking question: which NFL team has the most wins in history? Gaskin and Gonçalves breaking this tie. Which NFL team has the most wins in history?
Jeez. Did you know this one, Coach?
No. I did not know this one. Most wins in history. Anxious to see who's going to get this one. I was a little surprised. I was happy. That's
We're
my
happy?
hint. I was happy.
That's a tip, right?
That's a tip.
I know.
Come on now. Who's going to get this first? Gonçalves answers Green Bay. Gaskin, what do you think? Give us an answer. Gaskin said on here he got it. His answer was in first. On my chat, Gonçalves' name showed up right before yours, Gaskin. Gaskin picks Raiders. Gonçalves picks Green Bay. Actually, the number one answer was the Chicago Bears was the number one answer. Let's see, the Raiders, that's a good guess. The Raiders have, okay, it wasn't as good a guess as I thought because they're not in the top 10. But the Packers have 743 and are second on the list. Gonçalves, you are champ of the night. Your name is going on the wheel on Thursday night. If your name gets pulled up, one of 4 names, it's going to be, if your name wins, you win $50 cash. So make sure you check in with us on Thursday night. If you can't, you do not have to be present to win. We'll try our best to get a hold of you. I'm going to have to go through Alexandri to get your name. But Coach, we're going to finish off our chat tonight with one last question. Guys, thank you so much for being here. If you could subscribe if you're not subscribed, those things really help. We are going to be back with Coach Ribeiro again tomorrow night. Let's just say, you're going to run our Facebook and our Instagram. what can guys, if you're not following us on either of those guys, we would want to invite you over because we've kind of got a different plan for each one. Could you tell the guys what you're planning on doing with each one?
Sure. So both ones, we're going to have great content, right? So make sure you follow and you check our Facebook page because we're going to have a lot of interaction there, questions, and just to give you guys an idea, we'll probably have a lot of X's and O's. I know coaches like that. So make sure you follow our Facebook and let's debate on some stuff. And Instagram, we're going to have content as well, and we're going to have lives. So the lives they're coming there is we're probably going to talk about culture, right, between coaches, and there will be interaction between Brazilian coaches and American coaches and only American coaches. So make sure you check both ones because you're going to have different content happening in the two of them. And Instagram is actually going to be fun because we're going to have some cut-ups put there and some questions asked for you guys. I know you guys enjoy.
And one of the things I want to tell all you American coaches, one thing that Coach and I talked about doing that we'd really like to do is we'd really like to hook up an international coach with just kind of a Q&A session with an American coach and do it live on Instagram. So if any of you American coaches would be willing to sit with 30 minutes with an international coach and just let him Q&A you on his program and let you be an expert for him to bounce ideas off of, please let us know. Reach out to us on Twitter at @TheChiefPigskin and let us know, hey, I'd be willing to do one of those, international mentors one night. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be a really cool thing. Anybody that happens to be an international coach, if you'd like to just take whatever Q&A or bounce any ideas off an American coach, we want to just kind of connect. We want to kind of be a bridge here and connect guys. Because here's the thing, and I was telling Alex this the other night. We know that there's great coaches everywhere in the world, but I can tell you firsthand the number of men coaching this game at a very high level in our country it's staggering. It's staggering. It's thousands and thousands and thousands of men pouring their lives into coaching and being very good at it and studying it, and it's like what they do. So we do have a huge number of coaches that are excellent at this and are always worth just bouncing ideas off of. So we'd like to connect you guys and be that bridge, and Alex will be running all that through our Instagram account. So give us a follow over on Instagram at @TheChiefPigskin. Guys, we're done for the night. Alex, I know it's late in Brazil. All you guys in Brazil, they're up. It's like 11:30 there. So thank you guys for joining us. Any closing thoughts before we sign off?
Guys, just make sure you show up tomorrow as well. There's a bunch of nice things coming. So I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to learn from the best and to connect with the best. Actually, yesterday I posted something like a research on my personal Instagram, and everyone was like, so I want to learn from Americans because they are the ones who invented the game, and they've been doing this, just like Coach said, in a high level. So I'm really excited and grateful for the opportunity. So make sure you tune in tomorrow night as well.
Excellent. Guys, thanks again for joining us. We will see you tomorrow night.